Okay, let me drag this up here. That might help. Okay, so in an exothermic reaction, what does EX mean? What does EX mean? I just said it a few minutes ago. EX.
Example.
Well, okay, if it was an abbreviation, it would be example, right? But EX, like think of exit. What does EX mean? If you exit a room, what do you do? Okay, so out of, right? So EX is out of, exothermic, so that means give off heat or energy. Okay, so if you look at the reactants here, the reactants are what you start with, okay, at the beginning. Okay, so the reactants, in order for a chemical reaction to happen, you have to increase the energy. Think of boiling water. Okay, so you add energy, and then this is where the reaction happens at the top of this arc. Okay, so you start here, energy increases, and then this activated complex is where the chemical reaction is taking place. And then at the end of the reaction, you get the products. This is what you end with, the products. So you start with reactants, the chemical reaction happens, and then you have products, two new substances, okay? Or one new substance, depending on if you're building something or breaking something apart, okay? Any questions on that? Okay. Now, I say that this is an exothermic reaction because look at the energy here. The energy of the products is less than the energy of the reactants. And I know it's less because energy is on the y-axis. So the reactants are higher up on the y-axis than the products. And that means that when this reaction happened, these reactants gave off the energy that they had and released it into the atmosphere. Because the products have less energy. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the opposite of that then is, is endothermic. So here, again, same thing. We've got time and energy. Okay. Here you've got the reactants, energy to start the reaction. Here's where the reaction takes place. And then look how much higher the products are here. So this means the products have more energy. So these reactants during this chemical reaction absorbed energy. Okay. And so now the products have more potential energy than the reactants did. Okay. Now, what enzymes do to speed things up is lower this value. They lower the amount of energy you need to add to a reaction for it to take place. Okay? Now, that's the last thing about enzymes I want to talk about with you. But let's look here. Is this first one right here? Okay, that first one. This first one. This one right here. It says energy absorbing. Because look, the products have more energy than the reactants. So what would we call this reaction? Endothermic or exothermic? The first one, yes. The second one, endothermic, right? Because they're absorbing energy. And then, of course, this energy releasing, exothermic. The energy of the products is lower than the energy of the reactants. Okay? Is we good so far? Any questions on Zoom? None. Okay. Now, we have 2 days of review on enzymes. Okay? Just a little last note about this. Right here, do you see that there is a blue line and a red line? Okay? which is higher, or which line requires more energy to take place? The blue line or the red line? The blue line, because it's higher up on the y-axis, right? So the blue line is the amount of energy required for a chemical reaction to take place without an enzyme. The red line is what happens when you mix in enzymes. So enzymes lower the amount of energy required for a reaction to take place. Is that good? Okay, any questions on Zoom? Okay, so then this is what we're going to do today. We are going to combine what we did last week and what we did today, okay? And we are going to try something new. So what I want you to do, go to Schoology. Go to Schoology, right? And on our course homepage, you'll notice that it looks more organized, hopefully, to you. The schedule is accurate for this week, okay? And I want you to click on the tab that says Enzymes Escape Room. It's a link. Now, you can't leave it in Schoology, so you have to click on the title again, and this is what should open. Can everyone see the Google form Enzymes Escape Activity in a separate tab now? Everyone on Zoom, give me a thumbs up, just a sign. You don't have to type anything. Just give me the thumbs up emoji if you have been able to do it correctly. Okay, anyone not able to do it? Okay, now we're going to work alone on this one. So all you do is type your name in here. So I'll type my name in. Okay. Take 30 seconds and just read through that little paragraph there. So enzymes are very important to the survival of living things. Just read that quickly, that paragraph. Anyone having issues? Anyone having issues? Okay. Now, in order to start, you need a code word. Now pay attention, because numbers, letters, lowercase, uppercase are very important for these codes. They won't work correctly if you don't type them in the right way. So the code is capital E, lowercase n, capital Y, I'm sorry, Z, lowercase y, capital M, capital E, S. Enzymes. Okay, I'll pause for a moment. So type that in quickly. Thumbs up if you've got it typed in. Okay, then click next. Oh, good, it worked. Now, if your answer is not correct, it will not let you move on. Does that make sense? So now you're going to combine. This is just like a digital escape room. Did we do one of these earlier, a few weeks ago?
Can you repeat what how you said it?
What about what?
The enzyme thing,
Okay, I'll type it in the chat for you.
the capital E.
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat for you. Okay. Okay. So the way an escape room works is that you are given a series of problems. Okay. Sometimes they're content problems, like about proteins and enzymes. Other times it's critical thinking. But in this one, you have to combine both. So you have to combine your prior knowledge about enzymes and proteins. Okay. And you have to use that to solve the problems. Okay. So let's try this first one together. It says, as already stated, enzymes are very important to cells. In fact, life as we know it could not exist without enzymes. Okay? Your first task is to be able to identify the main reason that enzymes are important. So, of these 7 statements, if you had to pick one thing, one reason why enzymes are important, which one would you pick? Okay, and that's what I want you to think about right now. Yes. So it's okay, put your name in. Capital E, N, lowercase, capital Z, Y, capital M-E, S, lowercase. There you go. Good. Okay, so now everyone's had a chance to look at this. Type in the number that you think is the correct answer. Type in the number you think is the correct answer. Should just be one number, just one number. Okay, and then see if you get it right. If you got it right, it will take you to the next screen. If you did not get it right, it will not. Okay? So it's looking like some people got it. Who has the answer for this first puzzle? Okay, Julian. Can you read that for us, please? Okay, so Julian answered number 4, speed up chemical reactions. Okay, now that is correct. The most important thing enzymes do is speed up chemical reactions. So then I'll type in number 4 and hit next. Okay, now I'm on the second puzzle, puzzle number 3. Okay, well, because really puzzle number 1 was just like the code I gave you. Does that make sense? Now, this one is labeling. Let me give you a hint for this one. Number 1, my first hint. There is one term that you will not use. Okay? There are 2 terms that you will use twice. Okay? Now, keep in mind, you must read this last part carefully. Okay? Okay. So you should be working on puzzle 3 or room 3 now. And as an example, do you want me to do an example for you of how to solve this? Okay. So right here it says, the unlock code to advance to the next stage of this activity is the 6 codes combined. Put the codes in order by number from smallest to largest. Use only lowercase letters in the code. Put 1 space between each of the number letter codes. So in this picture, what's the lowest number? Everyone? 1. Now 1 is pointing to something in the model. Which of these words would you call number 1? Which of these is number 1? And if you don't know, you need to pull up your notes from last Tuesday, which would be in Notability. So it should say like enzyme notes. There we go. Oh, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. So what are these parts? Number 1 would be what? Somebody from Zoom. Number 1 would be what?
Product.
Nope. This is what you're starting with. So you wouldn't start with the product. This product is what you end with. This looks to me like number 1 is one of the molecules coming in to bond with the enzyme. So what would that be? I didn't hear what you said. Substrate, yes. I thought you said yes. So now on your first code would be 1C. It says lowercase. Now it says skip a space. So type space bar once, and now put in number 2. What is number 2? pointing to? What is number 2 pointing to? Okay, good. Active site, which is A. Okay, to A. All right, now I want you to do the last 4 on your own. So you'll have 3, a letter, 4, a letter, 5, a letter, and 6, a letter. Okay, so start working. Raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay. We're going to be working on this for the last 18 minutes of class. Okay. Anything you do not finish on this tonight is homework. So you must finish this escape room tonight. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you guys can have your full screen to work with. Okay.